We are going to continue. We are going to continue. See, several mechanisms have been evolved to prevent osmotic lysis in different types of cells and organisms. For example, some organisms are having a cell wall, a non-expandable cell wall of sufficient rigidity. You know that plants are having cell wall, bacteria and bacteria have cell wall, etc. And these cell walls are having sufficient rigidity and strength to resist osmotic pressure. And certain freshwater protists that live in highly hypotonic medium have contractile vacuoles. This contractile vacuole is responsible for pumping water out of the cell. In multicellular animals, blood plasma and interstitial fluid, we say the extracellular fluid of the tissues, are maintained at an osmolarity close to that of cytosol. That means we may say the cells are in an isotonic medium. And the high concentration of albumin and other proteins in the blood plasma contributes to its osmolarity. So, that extracellular fluid and also the cytoplasm retain different types of solutes so that the osmolarity of the cytoplasmic fluid is maintained very close to that of the extracellular fluid. And cells also actively pump out ions such as sodium positive ions into the interstitial fluid to stay in osmotic balance with their surrounding environment. You see, maintaining osmotic equilibrium is essential for existence. Because the effect of solutes on osmolarity depends upon the number of dissolved particles. You remember pi is equal to IC into RT. Or we say IC is equal to N, number of solutes. So, osmotic pressure depends upon the number of solutes, number of particles, and not upon the mass of the particle. So, what happens, as the molecular mass increases, osmotic pressure actually decreases. Why? Osmotic pressure depends upon number of particles, not on the mass of particles. So you see, as the size of the particle increases, you say within a given volume, number of molecules decreases. Within a given volume, as the number of the mass increases, number of particles decreases, and therefore osmotic pressure also decreases. So macromolecules such as proteins, nucleic acids, polysaccharides, etc. have far less effect on the osmolarity of the solution than would an equal mass of their monomeric components. Equal mass of their monomeric components. For example, you consider the case of 1 mole of sucrose. You consider the same case of 1 mole of glucose hydrolyzed into 1 mole of glucose and 1 mole of fructose. Which one of them will have a higher osmotic pressure? As the number of particles increases, osmotic pressure also increases. You see, a gram of polysaccharide composed of 1000 molecules of glucose, 1000 glucose units, has the same effect on osmolarity as 1 milligram of glucose. 1 milligram is equal to 1000 of a gram. Got it? Yes. One effect of storing fuel as polysaccharide. Remember, in plants, glucose is stored as starch. In animals, in our body, glucose is stored as glycogen. Why these fuel molecules are not stored as monomers such as glucose? Because if these are stored as glucose or as their monomers, osmotic pressure will be very high. And to maintain osmotic concentration, it will have to store an equivalent amount of water also. which will increase the volume and weight of the structure. So you see, one effect of storing fuel such as polysaccharides in the form of glucose or other simple sugars is prevention of an enormous increase in osmotic pressure within the storage cell. To maintain osmotic pressure, equivalent amount of water also will have to be stored. It will increase the storage space required. It will also increase the weight of the organ where it is being stored. So always storage structures in a biological system should be polymers and not monomers. Plants use osmotic pressure to achieve mechanical stability, rigidity. The very high solute concentration in the plant cell vacuoles draw water into the cell. Remember, the vacuole in the cytoplasm of a cell actually is the vacuole within the cytoplasm. Yeah, actually the vacuole within the plant cells are storing a large amount of solutes so that it will attract an equivalent amount of water. So when a large amount of water is retained within the cell, it causes a type of pressure. We call it turgor pressure. We call it turgor pressure. In your lower classes, you studied it as pressure potential psi P. This turgor pressure stiffens the cell, it stiffens the tissue, it stiffens the plant body. You are familiar with it. You know that a balloon with which you sometimes used to play during celebrations, etc., is a very weak structure. But what happens if the balloon is filled with air? It stiffens. Similarly, the football or the volleyball with which you are playing, or you forget everything, the tire of a car or a bike, the tire is actually very flexible structure. But what happens when it is filled with air? It stiffens. The structure stiffens and it is capable of withstanding a lot of pressure. The same principle is applied here. When the lettuce in the salad wilts, it is because of loss of water and sudden alterations in turgor pressure produce movement of the plant parts. You know the touch me not plant and also the Venus flytrap. And osmosis also has consequences in the laboratory protocol. In the laboratory, when we are isolating organelles such as mitochondria, chloroplast, lysosome, etc., we should use buffers and also we should use some solutes of isotonic concentration so that these membrane bound structures are prevented from undergoing lysis. Next heading is diffusion. We will see this in another slide.